Let's kind of discuss the advantages of moving to a packet network. What additional services can we support, now, and what are we looking to in the future?
So at a high level, again, when we talk about moving to a modernized packet-based network while still supporting the required TDM services, what we're really getting are a couple of key things. Of course, we talked about some of the affordability and scale, but you're really getting reliability as well. You're getting continuity of service, better disaster recovery, and actually a significant amount of incremental flexibility than you had before. Plus, because packet-based networks are pretty much the basis of all modern networks, there's a very, very rich tool set that's available to monitor the state of your network, and the network itself now is much more amenable to automation and software-defined networking. And in terms of additional services, actually, if you think of almost any use for the wide area network for internet today, video, real-time controls, high-speed email, and conferencing, and sensor data distribution, all of these things are pretty much part of modern networks, and those are things that you can support once you've modernized your network to support the Ethernet capabilities that you would have had a very, very difficult time doing had you stayed in the TDM service land, if you will, which really stopped evolving 20 years ago. Brian, can you talk to some of the specific services that you've seen customers realize?
Yeah, certainly can. We've implemented and migrated services for a number of requirements, including the ones you mentioned. We have to have real-time services for launches and mission-critical communications. Real-time video streaming is one of the ones that we've implemented at a number of locations. We have to have telemetry for launches and or mission support. They have to have the data as instantaneously as possible. Another interesting thing that we've done that we weren't able to do is backhaul of SCADA. That's an electrical grid control system. That has to happen in real time. We have microseconds from a fault on an electrical circuit and a very large substation, and it has to shut that fault to ground so it doesn't injure people or cause problems throughout the base. We backhaul all of that with Sienna products, and we just started doing that. Data and Ethernet services, we can do wireline Ethernet at layer 1 and layer 2 now, and that eliminates latency and network issues that traditionally we have been supporting throughout DoD with layer 3 enabled networks, NIPRNet and SIPRNet, for example. If you look at a typical base, it's mostly routed at layer 3, and they extend that by using this transport system that we put in with Sienna. We can do everything at layer 1 and 2, and we eliminate latency, and jitter goes away, believe it or not, and it helps. Another critical services that we've been providing is for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance weapon and mission systems. And we've been doing that across the DoD. Won't get into where those are, but they are ubiquitous, and we are supporting them. And then coming very soon, one of the things that the Air Force in particular and a lot of the DoD MILDEPs are doing is commercial solutions for classified. One of the things we have is bulk encryptors. We have bulk encryptors on either end of a circuit, and it slows them down. Sienna is working on a commercial solutions for classified solution at the transport level. That will enable us to encrypt traffic at that level and alleviate the need for bulk encryption devices at network drop-off and endpoint. So it's exciting things coming, particularly with the commercial solutions for classified piece.
And in terms of your basic question about packet networking advantages, there really are several. First and foremost is that there's substantially better performance in modern networks. The older TDM networks, SONET, SDH, which were state of the art in the 90s, those were hundreds of megabits to maybe a couple, 2.4, 2.5 gigabits per second. And really in mainline core and even metro networks now, base rate is 10 gig and moving to 100 gig. Modern core networks are now pushing 400 and will soon to be over a terabit. So considerably enhanced and much better performance is available today than what was available in the earlier days. and that gives you much more capacity to grow. It gives you the ability to support future missions and future applications. And because of the flexibility of the modern networks and the modern network management systems, along with the greater capacity, you get better user satisfaction. And you actually with the modern packet-based networks, you can carry both TDM and packet services together. So you can consolidate your networks onto single network infrastructure and do all of that with reduced total cost of ownership and better OpEx.
And we've deployed a lot of these solution sets. So Brian, I know you've worked with customers directly for many years regarding this. Can you kind of respond with a little bit of the advantages and the post migrations? What are the outcomes that you've seen so far with these migrations that we've put in place?
And building on what was just said, the biggest thing is we have many disparate networks on every base that I've been to, different management platforms, different capabilities, different uptimes, reliability. So we can consolidate a lot of these disparate networks. We can efficiently manage network traffic. And one of the bigger things that we run into is enhanced security and analytics. By using the Manage, Control, and Plan platform from Ciena, we can see and monitor network traffic. We can control the network. We can commission devices. We can fulfill services. We are able to do service assurance, and we can monitor network utilization and move things around as we need to. With that single unified interface, operational networks can be completed quickly. As a graphical user interface, the users are able to, in a day, set up services that used to take weeks at a time. And one of the big things we're finding out, fiber outside plant resources on basically every site I've ever been to are maxed out. Whenever we do put in a solution like this, we are freeing up a lot of those resources that they can use for other things. So after we get the system in, we're doing all that, we can drop and add circuits, we can groom the network, we can do that quickly and with ease. A lot of our networks that we're carrying are C2, command and control. Those networks have to stay up. With this particular solution set, it has a very, very robust failover capability. And what we do is we set every one of our C2 networks and many of our just standard TDM networks with that failover capability with these systems. And one of the big things, another big thing that comes up, anytime we put a network on, we have to have an authority to operate. The systems that we're putting in from Ciena have an approved configuration with an authority to operate up front. And we install the system, they meet all the DISA-STIG requirements. It's a very secure system when we're finished. And because the network is so efficient, robust, responsive, and adaptable, the end users have to focus on their mission. They don't have to worry about ever-changing underlying transport network challenges. It makes their job much easier. Okay, Ryan?
Yeah, that all sounds very exciting. It kind of sounds like customers that we have that are on that TDM side, are they looking at this this would be kind of a nice thing to do to go move to a packet network solution-based solution set? They need to. When are they going to do it so they can actually move forward with their mission and support their mission correctly?